One of the major events Roblox players had the joy of looking forward to is Egg Hunts, without fail one happening every year from 2013 onwards and then finally stopping. Today I think it would be fun to re-look into the past at the Egg Hunts from the start and to the end when the final Egg Hunt released. This is the entire history of Roblox Egg Hunts. Our journey starts off in March of 2008 with the first Egg Hunt labelled Eggstravaganza, which lasted a few days from the 20th to the 23rd, with the first 2 days the eggs only appearing for 1 hour. Then the final day they appeared for 4 hours, and how you found these eggs was by playing any game at that time when the eggs drops were live, as they were not assigned to one dedicated game but rather added to the engine to drop in any game. In total there was 11 eggs for the player to collect, with 10 of the eggs having special requirements to be able to obtain the egg, with my favourites being Puzzling Egg of Enigma, that required you to play a game of chess and win to obtain the egg. But my personal favourite is the legendary Egg of Gygax, because it's not even an egg but rather a 20-sided die, in which also ties into how you obtain the egg, as you have to land on I think number 20 for it to be a claimable item. The other eggs in this event also had cool and clever mechanics that were simple but also matched with the times, as Roblox was not a complex platform back then, and having a small event like this with nice looking eggs to obtain for free with some interesting requirements to obtain made it a fun and memorable event for players. 2 years later, in April, Roblox brought back the Eggstravaganza for a second time. But this time, they made it even bigger, with 28 unique egg items for people to get, with 16 between the 2nd of April 2010 and lasting a few days later due to the servers getting overloaded with players trying to collect the egg drops. So as an apology, Roblox gave out a free item on the catalogue, the Golden Egg Beater, a cool necklace item of an egg whisk in a gold form, for a low price of free. This is also the first event that introduced the Faberge egg into the Egg Hunt series, with 5 in this event in total, 3 in the April Egg Hunt drop being red, green and blue Faberge eggs that would rarely drop in games in that time frame, with usually a 1% chance of it dropping. And as for the eggs, I think the selection for this event were again really cool, and some even having some funky designs, like a vicious egg of Singularity, which had to collect this egg while he was in the sky, and some chromed eggs like Chrome Egg of Speeding Bullet, which had to catch the egg to get it, and Shiny Gold Egg of Switcheroo, which had to get it before it teleported away. I think the weirdest and most out there egg design in April drop was the agonisingly ugly egg of Screensplat, which was a simple walk over the egg to collect it, but as the name implies, once that happens, your screen gets splattered in egg yolk. As for the selection of items and how they can be obtained, I think they did a great job, and if you caught onto the wording, this wasn't the end of the 2010 Eggstravaganza, as in July they ran it back, but this time with 8 more egg designs lasting from the 21st to the 26th of July, and in this drop holds one of my favourite eggs in this series. Extinct Egg of Dino on Ice, which had to break the ice around the egg to obtain it, and you may be wondering, why is this one my favourite? Well, it's a cool reference to Super Mario Bros, as the egg resembles a Yoshi egg in that game. And to top it off, in the rerun of the Egg Hunt, it can't be complete without a Faberge egg, which this time there was 2, Hot Pink Faberge egg and the Golden Faberge egg of Hive Mind, that were obtained by again pure chance in a full server. And as a added bonus for this year, you could have got 4 more eggs from doing a contest called the Crossroads Improvement Project, as the 4 eggs used were cancelled items from the previous Eggstravaganza that can finally be obtained all through a contest to help improve one of Roblox's iconic maps. In 2012, we would see the next Easter event return, but this time it will actually don the name Egg Hunt rather than Eggstravaganza like the ones before, and also this would be the first game to feature all the egg drops other than one in one area instead of spawning in every single game on the platform. In total, this event had 24 eggs plus one extra that will be discussed later. The event featured the usual egg designs with some cool options like Ethereal Ghost Egg being a transparent egg with a ghost face, which I quite like a lot, and I know there have been some transparent eggs in the previous events, but this one's my favourite. And if you're wondering how you got this egg, it was by touching it. Sounds simple until you realise it spawns in the air, but not a problem. All you need is the potion to make you fly, and it's as simple as that. Then there's Vampiric Egg of Twilight, which, while being an egg, it has more of a design to it with a nice looking cape to match, and how you got this is by waiting for it to turn to night and capturing it. The event also featured the usual Faberge eggs with some pretty nice designs, with Charles Babbage Faberge egg, however you pronounce that, being a programmer based Faberge egg with zeros and ones on the egg design and a green base. Then Azuraf's Faberge egg with a nice purple floral pattern and an engraved looking metal base. And lastly, Ruby Filigree Faberge egg. They made some weird names for these, with a royal looking egg with a nice matching gold base. And you already know how you should get these by now, and by now you should already be able to guess how you obtain these items. But the most interesting item from this event is the sugar eggs, as not only was this the only event to have 3 unique designs, with one more featuring in another hunt, but more on that one later on. Other than that, this egg design was never brought back to the event again, and the only other time it made a return was for a toy code, which could be obtained from Roblox's Series 5 mystery boxes. As for the designs of the eggs, they were like a cake in the form of an egg with decorations around the side and a picture in the middle, with all 3 being a reference to famous Roblox maps: Chaos Canyon, Sword Fights in the Heights and Crossroads. How these were obtained is again like the Faberge eggs, that of pure chance, and I think it's a shame they never decided to bring this back, as it would have been a cool timestone egg of each hunt map showcased like what was done here. As a final wrap up to 2012 Egg Hunt, it went quite well and it was a success, as after this year it became a yearly occurrence, getting players excited to experience the next Egg Hunt and see what it has to offer. But before we get to the 2003 Egg Hunt, there is still one more egg, the only official egg that was not in an Egg Hunt. The Stooge Egg. This is one of the few times an egg was given outside of an Egg Hunt, like what happened with the Crossroads Improvement Contest and Blue Steel Egg of Rotris. What's even weirder is that I think this is the only promotional egg tie in that has occurred, as it was from an event called Stoogeville to help promote the movie The Three Stooges, and how you got this egg was from it spawning once every round and cracking the egg shell to obtain it. And as for the location, it spawned underneath the city in the sewers, and other than that, I think it's a cool egg that just looks like an egg yolk. 2013 rolls around, and this time they went all in. Custom made game for the Egg Hunt this year, and 3 different ways to obtain eggs, with the majority in the game and then some located on the website and some in the studio. And to top it all off, we got a cool promotional video for the event featuring Shedletsky, a former Roblox admin that was a prominent figure in the early stages of the platform before he left the company. As for the Egg Hunt, this one is my personal favourite due to its simplicity, following the ideas set in the previous Egg Hunts with its simple mechanics and some more tougher eggs to obtain, mixed with some clever building ideas, like for instance the builder egg spawning objects to obtain it in the City VA construction site, and some ones like the wizard egg in the tower where you have to dodge its fire to be able to obtain the egg. What I think made this Egg Hunt special was, for one, the variety in egg designs, as it took the vampiric egg from 2012 with its base egg design and added accessories and made that its main thing with the eggs, such as the egg of duty that had a helmet on and a utility belt, and how you got this was via the volcano, dodging its firepower until you stood on the egg. Sadly, this egg was one of the few you didn't keep, but I'll explain what that means later. Overall, for the map portion of the game, it was nice to see Roblox going all in on the Egg Hunt ideas, as this was a complete success, with it showcasing nice builds throughout the map with hidden secrets to explore, and not to mention creative egg designs that made it a fun game to explore, capturing the essence of what Easter is about. But that's not all, as that was only the main game covered. We still have 2 more ways Roblox hid Easter eggs around the platform. The first being with the studio. In the studio, you could have obtained 6 unique eggs, all featuring a blocky egg design, probably as a reference to Roblox itself with its, well, blocky design, and the studio being the way you create your own worlds on the platform. I think the most interesting egg from the studio portion is the Yolks on Us, a purple and yellow egg with a frown emoji on it, and how you got this egg is quite interesting. See, there was 2 ways of getting this egg. One was from by crashing the studio until you got it, but that was changed later on, and how you got it the intended way was to make a model / group, name it Egg, then put a part inside and call it Yolk, and then you would obtain it. As for the final batch of free eggs, they were located around the website, with the first being in the Roblox's logo itself by just pressing the O in Roblox, and as for the other 2, they were located in advertisements that appeared on Roblox at that time, with the first being on Roblox's main website and the other one being in Roblox's forum page, which, to be honest, I never used, so I missed out on that one. And to loop back around, I previously mentioned some eggs after the event changed into different items, mainly gears, with the one in question being Egg of Duty that changed into Army Chick's gear, that I didn't think was really any good in gear fights, but rather a fun Easter item out of a cool egg. The same goes for the wizard egg mentioned, another great looking item that changed into a static particles around the character, kinda like you took a potion and you're feeling some side effects, or got hit by a heavy object. I think in both cases, the original item and the outcome are quite nice, but I do wish you could have kept the eggs that hatched as for a cool bonus, but I can't complain as this was a unique experience for sure. The next year, Roblox would keep the Egg Hunts coming with the Save the Eggverse, and this time they went even harder. Let's start off with the website eggs, as there are 2 eggs which both were tied to an advertisement that you would have to find on the website at that time. People ended up finding a URL that would just take you straight towards getting the eggs for free. So as long as you could find a forum that had the 2 links that were found for the eggs, and you were golden. Unlike me, who never clicked on the ads or saw any of the forum posts about it. Now onto the map, and well, there is a lot to talk about for this one. For starters, this event had 31 unique egg designs and 6 Faberge eggs, which is currently the most amount of Faberge eggs in a hunt, with 2010 being close with 5. I do find it crazy Roblox decided to have 6 Faberge eggs in this hunt, as these are intended rare drops that you would rarely see or never see, but I do think it isn't so bad,
as there is a cool mechanic about this egg hunt, and egg drops are tied to how it works, including the Faberge eggs and some unique egg designs. For 2014's Egg Hunt, Roblox decided to make the map bigger, but in a different way. Instead of having just one massive open area, how about 5 showing the Stone Ages, then the medieval stage, then the present day, a possible future, and lastly a wrong ending. These 5 areas in this game all have some egg drops that they all share, and then some that drop specifically in that area, which I do think is a neat idea for an egg hunt and ties into the theming quite well. Now out of this egg hunt, I have put 3 of my favourites into a list, with the first being Egg of Verticality, with this spring shaped egg. And how you got this egg was it spawning in a few different areas, but it ascended up and descended down, so you got to catch it at the right time, and then it is yours. The next one is Eggy Pop, which can be obtained in the 4th stage, under a destroyed building in a cave. Once you see the egg, type I love you into the chat and you should be able to get it. Other than having an interesting way to get it, I think the egg is quite cool and a nice reference to old rock stars like "Whoa mama, I'm Elvis Egley." So bad bruh. Lastly, there is Alien Arty Egg Fact, banger of a name, that could have been obtained in the 5th stage, where it spawns on top of a building and then on a platform on top of that where you have to jump to then claim it. As for its design, I like the idea of an upside down egg turned into an alien, as out of all the eggs from this event, I think this one is actually kind of wearable, as if you put in like an alien fit, it would actually look really well. Overall, I really like the concept of this egg hunt, and it was really fun to play like 2013's while offering cool eggs in the process, and a series egg like the 3 Musketeers with green, red and blue hearts on some eggs. But there's still one more egg from this year. Well, it's more like a troll. For April 1st, we got Egg Hunt 2. They really made a sequel. In this troll event, you could have gotten one egg that ends up being the most interesting egg in the series for good reasons. This scribble egg, while looking scuffed and childish on the front, offers the OG sparkle effect on it. It also emitted some light. Yes, you heard that right, light. This is one of 2 times a hat actually emitted light, with the other one being Sparkle Time Pumpkin. For a time, the pumpkin was the only hat that emitted light, as Roblox removed it from the egg ages ago, but recently, from a forum report post, the light emitter got put back into the hat, making it one of the coolest eggs in the entire series again.
2015's Egg Hunt is going to be quite interesting, as this time there is no central game, and is more like a dev hunt, a term that would be used more often later on. But what it means essentially is the items and event are split up into different games featured on the platform than having one central game. This idea is not something I hate, as long as the games in question are actually fun and enjoyable to play and not a complete chore to do. For this event, there are 22 unique eggs over 3 games. Super Bomb Survival, Twisted Murderer and Ripple minigames, which the last one is made by a developer who was later found out to be a predator. Yikes. Also for this event, it introduced the admin egg drops that would later be expanded to YouTubers / people in the rewards program and then developers for the event. Now onto the eggs that you can get in this event. I've picked out some of the ones I think are the most interesting and ones that I personally think look the best, with the first being Fancy Egg of the Fabulous from Twisted Murderer, where you got this by playing a specific audio. If you punched in 1918-1941-9 into a audio player in the lobby, you will be rewarded with this sophisticated looking egg. Next is Billy the Egg from the same game, which spawned in Sheriff Showdown, where it would be a rare drop that occurred once someone had died in that round. The egg itself, I would say, is one of my favourites from this event from its design alone, as I think it is a really cool one and I would wear it outside of Easter. Now, let's change the focus to Super Bomb Survival, a cool minigame that will be featured in more Roblox events, but for this time, there's 2 eggs from this game I like a lot. Well, more like 1, as the other one can be obtained in all 3 games. The first being Eggmageddon, with this cool cracked magma egg look that has been executed really well. Now, how you got this egg was from a nuke round where the egg can spawn in, but it doesn't have a high chance to. I think for the time and effort, this egg is worth it. Sadly, it's one of the few eggs from this event I missed out on, as I would have liked to own this egg now, as I think it is something I would actually wear, and I think it also looks really cool. Lastly, there is Hipster Egg of Retro, which could be obtained in all 3 games by wearing a hat from 2008 or earlier and waiting for it to spawn in the round, and you should be able to claim it. As for the egg design, I think it's quite charming and honestly explains old Roblox really well, with the retro hat and then some stupid looking Adidas tracksuits people used to buy on the platform that are for some reason space themed. As an added bonus, I would like to add the admin egg as well. I think it's a simple looking egg that it was done quite well, and the obtaining part is actually quite simple. Find an admin in a game and then get them to drop the egg for you, or you could spend 100,000 Robux on the admin ears that grants you the ability to drop the eggs in these specific games and do it yourself. Each to their own really. Now, after this year, it was a return to the regular format, fortunately for a few more years, until we see a gradual change. As mentioned, all the eggs from this year were contained into one game, and this time no duplicates shared between games, and also the return of the Faberge eggs. As you may have noticed, I never spoke about them in the last event. That's because they never did one for that event for some odd reason, as it could have been 3 different designs shared between the games. Now, as for the new Egg Hunt, the Eggcellent adventure, there are 26 unique eggs, and 2 that are dropped via hats, like how the admin egg drops worked in the previous event. But as for the game itself, it feels quite retro, like Egg Hunt 2013, where it was split into different areas and had teleporters to them. Well, this time it was like that Egg Hunt, but on a bigger scale, and some slightly more modern ideas. Take for instance, quests. This would be something that would become a bigger part of the Egg Hunt series, but for this game it was quite bare bones and acts more like a concept. Take for instance, the quest line with the farmer who asks you to do some stuff around the farm, like finding a sharpener for the pitchfork, some rope, and a needle in a haystack to be rewarded the farmer egg. Then in some cases, it's back to the old roots like Vanishing Ninja Egg, where it locks onto you and throws a shuriken at you, and if you get too close it disappears to a new angle, making it quite tricky to claim. But if you've got enough perseverance, you'll be able to obtain it, and it's also quite a nice looking egg. Then the same goes for the petrified egg that spawns in the cemetery off to the side of the Colosseum in the game. This egg acts similar to the ninja egg, but it is constantly spinning with an area in which if it sees you, you'll get turned into some stone, as the name in the egg implies, but as long as you can time it right, it's actually not that hard to obtain. And as a side note, the boats to get to the Colosseum are really janky and shows its age with when this game was made by how it snaps into points of interest and dashes forwards and backwards. Just something I thought was quite funny and quirky. This event still did host basic eggs you can find around different locations, and one specific to the farm called the Strawberry. Real funny, that one. How do you get this egg? It is literally by waiting a while, as there is a patch of land next to the farm where the strawberries slowly grows until they are done, and then you can claim them. Simple enough, and it's also quite a cool looking egg just for doing, well, waiting. But what I find the most interesting are the Faberge eggs, with the rainbow egg that is honestly quite nice looking and can spawn in some obscure areas around the map. But the other Faberge egg, Fabrain's egg, is even more interesting. Firstly, this is the first time where the Faberge egg design has been significantly altered in terms of the base, where the egg it sits on being changed into that of a zombie hand, and how you got this egg was via collaboration. Essentially, you would have to collect 100 shards around the map, and after a certain amount of shards were collected, zombies would spawn in, making things a little more annoying. But after 100 shards have been collected in the server, it will spawn in the cemetery where it can be obtained. For the effort put into this, is it worth it? I mean, if you manage to get it, I'd say so, as it's a very cool Faberge egg, and honestly, one of my favourites they've done. It just requires a lot of effort and collaboration to obtain, which is something not a lot of people on the platform would like to do these days. Now, over the past years, we start to see Roblox take a bit of a back seat for this event, not in terms of the egg output, as this one had 43 unique eggs, one admin egg that was dropped via a gear, and one Faberge egg. This time, that is not randomly dropped, but rather completing the event. Unlike previous events, this one was being made by a team of developers with input from Roblox to make sure the event is fun and memorable to play, something they really should take note of in the current years. For 2017's Egg Hunt, we got the Lost Eggs, created by the elite builders of Robloxia, with some quite notable devs who helped to make it: Qently, Gusmanak, Zombody, and Beism, to name a few. The game works with separate worlds, with a portal that teleports you to these sub-games for each different level, with 6 different levels you can teleport to, excluding the world you start in, which is called Stratosphere Outpost. There's the World of Tomorrow, Northern Antarctica, Arctic Battlegrounds, which is a PvP arena, the Timeless Desert, Mount Ignis, and Abyssal Plain. All of these levels have some gimmicks that play into the level's theme. For each level, I've picked out an egg I really like the design of, as there is quite a few different ones per each level, that all look really good, excluding the admin egg that can be obtained in any area of the game. Let's start off with Stratosphere Outpost. This is where you spawn into the game, and it's based around floating islands. With one egg, you get via a cannon, which I missed a lot. There are also some balloons to help you traverse the islands, as there are some not connected via a bridge, but for the egg in question I quite like. It's located on top of a tower. Funnily enough, the egg is also called Top of the World Egg, which is quite simply going to the top of this tower that overlooks all the islands, and you get it. And in return, you get a nice scenic view of this level, and I think it's quite nice. Heading through the portal, we end up in the World of Tomorrow, also known as the Sci-Fi area. That has some of my favourite eggs, with the first being the Tesla egg that spawns in the middle of the map that makes a loud lightning noise when it spawned in, so you know it is on the map. The second is the Martian Egg Hunter that is obtained by going to the space center to the right of spawn, jumping into the rocket and crash landing back where you started. A for effort at least. Now, in the frozen lands of northern Antarctica, we see a lot more creative ways to obtain an egg, like blowing up a chunk of ice to obtain a frozen egg, or my favourite, the funny seal egg, that you could have got via diving under the frozen lake and trying to retrieve it from the lake. But the only issue is the seal in front of it. I'll be honest, I couldn't figure it out without the help of a guide, but if you did manage to swerve the seal, you did get a really cool egg out of it. Moving over to the dusty timeless desert, where one of my favourite eggs is literally in a dust tornado called the dust deviled egg, and all you need to do is literally walk into it and you would get it. But another fun egg is located to the left side of the teleporter, and it is a time trials themed egg where you have to do some parkour to claim the egg before the time ran out. I'll be honest, I was way too close to failing this one, but I clutched up in the last second. Exploding over to Mount Ignis, also known as Pompeii, with this next egg, Pompeian egg. I really like the face it has, and how you would obtain it is by talking to an engineer of the power plant to find 3 items: a matrix, a coil and a fuse. After returning back to the engineer and putting the items in their place, you can obtain this egg. Another thing I noticed is, with these last 2 maps, they had some cool gimmicks to them. This one had a grapple, which was kinda janky to use and honestly got me killed more times than not. But I still think for an egg hunt to have some cool ideas like this is a welcome idea. For the last area, we go underwater to the Abyssal Plains, where we arrive in Atlantis, a underwater city with a ton of cool eggs, and this cool idea known as oxygen, which will die if we run out of it. But that won't happen, as there are a ton of air pockets around the map. While exploring the area, I did stumble upon a simple defend to win for an egg area, which was quite alright, but I do wish the attacking NPCs did something more than just walk up to the point and that was it. But my favourite egg in this entire area is the pearl, and it is quite simple to get as well. Behind spawn, there is a path that leads up to a cave. Once entering, you can find a giant pearl in which the egg sits in, and all you have to do is open it up and then the prize is yours. Now onto the final egg, the Faberge, which does encapsulate the end of the egg hunt, as you need to collect all 40 unique eggs this game has to offer, excluding some like the admin egg. Once collected, you go back to the hub and talk to the wizard next to the vault. That will open up and reveal a secret portal. Once inside, you place down all your eggs and get a grand ending to this event and a really nice looking Faberge egg. Overall, I think this event is great, showing what new ideas can be done to make an egg hunt fun and enjoyable. With its cool gameplay mechanics for each level and usage of neat game modes to obtain some eggs, make it a memorable event and one that wasn't too tedious or boring to play. Now, in 2018, we have arguably most people's favourite egg hunt, the Great Yolktales, created by 5Team with a roster of a lot of great developers behind the project like Beastlick Music, Algie Lacey, Insanely Luke and Builder Boy, to name a few. For this event, there are 44 unique eggs split up into different areas, with each set of eggs based around the theme of that level, with the Ruined Library, Wonderland Grove, Easterbury Canals, Hard-Boiled City, Ruins of Wukong, and all the other sub-places in the game. Now this game is best described as a better version of the previous egg hunt, with taking the teleport idea and incorporating it into a book system that allows you to teleport into different areas, and some even having traversal between the set areas like the Hard-Boiled City. Another great feature this egg hunt had is the quests, which have been slowly getting introduced into the series, but this one goes in full steam ahead and uses it everywhere, with cool setups and minigames incorporated into these dialogues to obtain the main prize. I find this egg hunt to be well executed, and the themes of each level and interactions between the NPCs have been done really well. For this egg hunt, like before, I have picked out an egg per each of the main level, plus some of the more notable eggs, with 2 in particular on top. Now that isn't to say that other eggs in this event are bad, as I don't actually think that, as this egg hunt hasn't missed in terms of the egg selection, as each egg is really unique and will come down to personal preferences on what is your favourites from this event if you managed to play it when it was around. Let's start off in the fantasy area with 2 eggs. Egg of Wishes. How you got this one was by throwing 3 coins into the well located near spawn to get this cool cosmic egg that I think looks great on its own. And as for the other one, Alligator, what an amazing name. We have to teleport to a sub area via a book located in the centre of the map up a tower to a swamp. In this swamp you can find the alligator quite easily, which makes it quite an easy one to get, and it is worth it as well because it's a really cool egg on its own and can be worn in like an animal type of fit. Now let's move over to Europe themed map with the feast egg. This chef inspired egg works in a way of needing to run a restaurant to help out a chef in need. To obtain this egg, with you crafting burgers by dicing up ingredients, grilling the meat, and by plating it up and serving it to customers to try and keep your star rating above 5. After meeting the criteria, the egg is all yours. Again, the same thing with the last one, it's a really nice wearable egg and just shows that this event had a lot of care put into it. Let's change the scenery from the nice views of Easterbury Canals to New York Simulator with 3 sub areas you can visit, but the egg in question, Egg Capone, leads through 2 maps with you need to pick up a lockpicking kit in the police station when you enter the main area and take it to the train to Capone Yard, picklock a door and do the obby for the suit pieces to be able to get past through the guards, dodge the cameras, and then the egg is yours. Alright, I'll be honest, this next egg will be done very quickly as it's located in the ruins of Wukong and all you have to do is go to the Stonehenge area and wait for it to spawn, but it is worth it as you get the rock that looks like an egg but is actually a rock. A very cool item for doing very little, so I'd say it's very worth it by how cool it looks and is surprisingly wearable outside of the egg hunt with other rock fits. Yeah, it's quite limited. Lastly, in the Monsters Labyrinth, we have the Spider Egg, which you can obtain by playing a minigame in the Spider's Nest, which is a scuffed rendition of Temple Run, which took me a very long time to get my head around by how moving left and right looks like you will die, but you don't. After lasting 1 minute in the game, you reach the end and are awarded the egg, which is on the larger side. Yeah, take a look for yourself, it is massive. I would be remiss if I didn't talk about Egg Hunt 2013 Sugar Egg, the only new sugar egg since 2012 that can be obtained by going through a book teleporter to the Scarred Island, in which you have to obtain 15 tickets to obtain this egg, which is a great homage to my favourite Egg Hunt 2013 and the Sugar Egg Hunt designs from 2012. Now let's get on to the final egg, Feathered Faberge Egg. This one works similar to how the last one worked, where you need to get all 40 eggs out of this event, and then it can be claimed in spawn behind the area where you'll find the first ever egg you'll encounter, and you even get a nice little animation of the area where it's been sat, and then you're free to claim your last egg for this event. 2019's Egg Hunt, we would see a turn for the worst. This egg hunt was called Scrambled in Time. On the surface, it doesn't seem so bad, but the event was like 2015's version, but this time with a hub, but all the eggs from this event, other than some, were in games on the platform, which again, I do not mind if they have actual effort put into making the area and it's memorable, which for the most part I think this event didn't do too bad on, as there were 58 unique eggs you could have obtained. Just like before, I'll mention some of the eggs I liked in this egg hunt, as again, for the amount of eggs put into one event, I think they're all quite decent. Some are worse than others, mainly the Marvel tie-in eggs. Yes, this event for some reason had a movie tie-in for egg designs from Avengers Endgame, I believe. Don't know why, I'm guessing it's just to help promote the movie at that time. I would also like to add that, as mentioned before, the event had over 50 eggs, some of which needed a certain threshold to be hit before that egg can be claimed, which made the event kind of a chore if you had to join the game, then complete their hunt, and then go find another game and repeat, rather than it all being located inside one game, with maybe less amount of eggs as well. But enough about that. First, let's talk about the hub, as that's all this egg hunt has other than some eggs in place that can be obtained, like telekinesis, which is locked behind a door that requires you to have 10 eggs obtained. Afterwards, you have to complete an obby to obtain this egg. Too bad it's not functional anymore, so I can't really demonstrate it, but you get the gist of how it would have worked. And for added trivia, most of this event was actually leaked before it officially released by a YouTuber who was a pedophile and switched aliases more times than I can count. There used to be a video by, I believe, on the topic, but I can't seem to find it, so I'm guessing it's may have been removed. So a quick TLDR on how this happened. The developers for this event used burner alts in a group with random names to test the event. The person in question devised a plan to create an account that looked similar to the alts that made the test and join in the group. And it actually worked, and they were able to showcase the entire hub before the event even released. Alright, let's get back on topic and go over some of the games. First being Eggcellent Woolly Mammoth from Epic Minigames, where you had to play a new event called Easter Ice Thaw, where the egg would spawn in an ice cube and you would have to nudge it into your area until the timer runs out, all while keeping others from trying to push it into theirs. Honestly, I love the design of this egg, and it looks so nice. It's for sure one of my personal favourites from this event. Moving on to another ice themed egg with eggs on ice from Freeze Tag, where you once again have to play a special round of Freeze Tag in the egg hunt, where 3 egg parts randomly spawn on the map and you have to find and collect them to make this nice ice over noob egg. Next is My Eggy Vice from Project Laser, a game that never even got past a beta before it even got thrown into an egg hunt. Speaking of which, that egg looks kinda familiar. Anyway, how we got this egg was by being on the winning team in the King of the Hill egg hunt version, and your whole team would have been rewarded the egg. Then Tallahassee Zombie Slayer from Zombie Rush, that resembles Sniper from Team Fortress 2, and how you got this aimbot mercenary is by killing a zombie holding the egg that can spawn in randomly, and once that zombie is dead, they will drop the egg onto the floor for you to claim. In all of these games, you could have got free eggs dropped by launchers, the admin egg, the video star creator program egg. Honestly, these two are more for just collectible reasons, as the design is pretty meh, as you're not missing out on much in my opinion. To end the egg hunt off, let's talk about the Faberge egg, Dragonborn Faberge egg, as well as Legendary, as these two are obtained through the same method of defeating the final boss of this event, Eggwick. I'm not going to lie, the boss fight kinda gets boring quick, with repeating the same pattern of flinging a rock at the boss until they die, or wall running and jumping on the top of their head. If you steal the egg, you get this really cool looking Faberge egg, and if you decide to steal it, then you will get the space themed egg, which I think is not as cool as the Dragon Faberge. Overall, for the most part, this egg hunt was pretty meh, with way too many eggs and games to complete. And to make matters worse, some of the games in question were straight up lazy. Take for instance Eggy Vice. That game had nothing egg hunt themed, not even an attempt to look like a hunt, At least with Epic Minigames' Mammoth Egg, it was frozen and the minigame around it kind of fitted it, but it was just more like a why even bother, and those sort of games played the last hunt more. Now onto the final year, 2020. Oh boy, where do we begin? Oh right, with the name, Agents of Egg, sounds kind of cool, and oh wait a minute, I don't see a hub. That's right, this event for some odd reason never had a hub to lead you into the games featured in this event, rather something on the homepage to tell you about the event and show off some of the games in, which you had to have a look which ones are in the event with the event icon and not ones that are showing that they are part of the event but in reality are a bait. The event featured over 49 eggs, 3 of which are from drop launchers from admins, YouTubers and developers, and the last one being a Faberge egg for getting all of the 45 eggs, but more on that later on. I think for this event we may as well talk about majority of it being bad, as it's not considered a good event by most for it being quite lazy in most parts, like take for instance the Doc Holiday egg, which I do think the egg design looks pretty cool, just you had to do an orbit in the map and that's it. There wasn't any theming to it either, as you just have to find a temple with some egg statues around it and do the orbit and that was it. Then games like Zombie Rush, which I do think is a fun game, but with it having such a simple task, with it seems like it was cooked up within 24 hours. You had to kill 5 zombies that were holding a chicken drumstick to get the fried chicken egg. Yup, that was it. Nothing creative like defeating Shedletsky chicken egg boss, or maybe a short quest to unlock the drumstick as a weapon and kill 25 zombies with it. Nope, just kill 5 zombies with the drumstick in their hand and you're good. But then you have games like Tiny Tanks, which I do think is a cool game, but for this event, they went all out. Firstly, you could have bought a game pass for this game to increase the egg drop chance, which was obtained by destroying an enemy tank. But the crazy part is, you didn't even need to pay for the game pass or even play the game in the event at all, as if you loaded the game on mobile, you got the egg for free, as the game isn't even mobile compatible, giving mobile players an unfair advantage, and not like buying a game pass was fair either. Then the developers of Time Travel Egg Ventures took note and also did the same thing, as originally this game was hard but featured game passes that made it significantly easier, like infinite lives, a gun and sprinting, but you also could have bought a Respawn dev product as well. This gave players an unfair advantage if they just have access to some Robux to spend on an event for a coolish egg design, but luckily the developers after a while did make the event easier, as you just had to complete a run of the Eggverse to obtain this egg. Finally, the Faberge. After completing this event, claiming all the required eggs to get this special item, you got, well, nothing. There is no hub to give you a grand goodbye to this event. All you got was the egg just randomly appearing in your inventory after the event was closed to an end. And that's about it. Actually, it kind of sums up this event as whole, of it just being quite lackluster at best. At least Egg made it into the event, rest in peace to the developer of that game. To finalise the Egg Hunt series, I'll add a quick bit about the hatch. Great naming scheme guys, still not able to think of anything without the being in the name. For this event, expect something like 2019's Egg Hunt with a hub, but with a ton of games and maybe not a lot of eggs for the event, maybe like 10 to 15 if I had to guess. Don't believe a lot of the tweets about the new Egg Hunt and how it will work, as developers in the event are under a non-disclosure agreement to not share any information about the event, so people can be spreading misinformation on the internet. Wild. And I've also seen a few tweets of people who made condos getting accepted into the event and then going into hiding after people found out they got accepted because they made condo games and they were a pedophile. Not surprised, really, in the slightest. Egg Hunts have always been an important event series on Roblox, where they would put the most amount of effort into it, with unique egg designs, fun gimmicks for the eggs and how you obtain them. Now, we really can't even get that, as it's just, here's an event where you take pictures. Great, I'm bursting with joy from this awesome event. I just wish they returned back to their roots and made Egg Hunts again, even if they don't live up to the hype of some of the older ones. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, then feel free to leave a like and subscribe. If you have any other ideas for videos, then feel free to leave them down in the comments. Check out my Discord server, as I'm trying to build a community over there. Also check out my YouTube join page if you wish to support the content I make. And with that being said, I'll see you some other time.